Thrakas made us from stone to protect Girdlegard. Against orcs, ogres, and all the other beasts of Tion. We are the guardians of Girdlegard. We are the children of the Divine Smith. We are the dwarves.
Hey there, you're watching the Jessa channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and this is The Dwarves. This is an RPG fantasy role-playing game in which we are going to play through the story of Ctungdil. But first, we have a battle on our hands. We're going to pause the game anytime by pressing the space bar. Move the camera by using the middle mouse button and the mouse wheel. Let's pause.
On my way.
Right now we are playing the character Glandalin. This is a turn-based game with pause, or I should say real-time with pause. We're going to move here and get to use his first attack. This is the leap button, leap attack. We can press the E key. And let's jump right down into the middle of the fray. Now that we have these orcs scattered, this orc is on the ground. And if you attack an enemy while they are on the ground, your next attack is very likely to kill them. So I'm going to right-click here in order to have him queue that up, have a Glandalin queue that up. And that is one orc down. Now we have another one on top of us here. And we have two right in front of us. Both of them have their health somewhat low. Let's use a Mighty Blow. We're not in range here. Let's move a little bit forward and then see if we can get both of them. There we go. Mighty Blow. Each of these special attacks do more damage than a normal attack. Both of those guys dead. Let's take this one in front of us. We are mowing them down. And won't be too much to finish him off. We do have some action points here that we could use to finish him off really quickly, which I am going to use just to move things along. Boom. Now, let's right-click here to move along here. And I'm going to pause to show you that you can move the camera around. I'm going to come down kind of low like this so we can see all the epic action. We have 4 action points, and Glandalin's doing pretty good on health. We have some enemies here which are stunned from somebody's attack. When an enemy is stunned and you attack them, they do more damage. Now, because there are a bunch of our guys here, fellow dwarves, in front of us, that means that we will not be able to easily get to this guy in time, probably before he takes a hit or becomes unstunned, but we can try.
Charge!
Let's get in there and see if we can do that. Probably not. As you can see, we're being blocked by another guy. So I think it's time for a leap attack and put ourselves in the middle of the fray. This is going to knock our guys back, not do any damage to them. There is such a thing as friendly fire, and now we are in the thick of things and can finally lay down some pain. Let's zoom in on this and see Glandalin up close. So you can see here that he is working on this guy right in front of him. And what we want to do is keep our line. We have some guys back here working on this orc back here. There's like 4 guys on this orc. Oh, here's another one back here. I don't think they stand a chance, really. But we're going to build up some action points here by just doing some regular attacks. We now have 3 action points, and we have... Let's see if we can try and get this on 2 of them at once and knock them right out. Boom. And then we're going to move forward into the battle and attack this big guy right here. We have two of them on us at once. Now, there's a lot of guys going to this corner here, which is kind of disturbing. They're leaving the front line just to go kill this one really obstinate dude back here. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. Not too happy. I'm going to just be honest with you. Not too happy. This guy here is coming around our flank. Let's use this one more time. And if we just do this just right, we might be able to get all three of them. No. So, let's do these two because we don't want this guy coming up behind us. And just do a little bit more attacking. I really don't like... Why are they lined up like this? Okay, that does it. I think it's time to do a... Now what we're going to do here is an attack charge, which will push enemies aside. And see if we can get in there and see what's causing the fuss over here. Moving everybody aside. It's like, they're like really... And this guy will not die. Like, there's 6 guys on him. Just kill him. Okay, finally. He's dead. Jeez. Hey, guys. Guys. Battle's over here. So, let's run back here. And finally, now this is not good. This guy is getting in front of our line here. Don't want that. But we have some arrows that can take him down, and we're going to attack him directly. Get him out of the way here. And we want to start to press across the bridge. Let's get these nasty orcs here. Sorry about that. Camera work there. It's because there's a wall behind me. It's causing me not to be able to go back. And I'm waiting for him to build up some precious, there we go. So, we could do a charge attack again, kind of knocking people aside to get to the front line here. That would put these guys behind us, though, so I'm not feeling that. I think instead I'm going to take down these two here, get one of these guys out of the way, and greatly lower this guy. Here. There we go. So that did a lot of damage to him, and one more hit should take him down. No problem. This guy is really hard to kill. We've been trying to kill him for like 20 minutes. And stay dead. Exactly. Let's dive in here. So now we have a big mosh pit over here. And I am going to turn us around this way because we want to start to really mow them forward with this mosh pit. So let's break up things by jumping out in the middle here. We're going to scoot some people across and come up to the front where we belong. There we go. So the ones behind us will be taken care of by our comrades now that they're done with little Huey over here in the corner. And let's start mowing forward. We're going to wait until we get a few more action points here. And we're taking a little bit of damage, but we should be okay. We just need to start moving forward here. Mowing them down. Mowing them down. I don't like how they're backing me up, but...
A present from the workshop.
And what they've just thrown down is there. So let's turn around here. And we're going to go to the chest. And since we're in the middle of this mosh pit, it might be kind of hard to get to this chest, but we're going to try. There we go. That wasn't too bad. And let's click on this.
I'd be happy to pass on this present to the Greenskins.
Yes. And now we're cooking with gas. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let's watch some orcs fly. Now, you can see here that if I am not careful, I'm going to do some friendly fire to my own guys. So I want to make sure. And hopefully what we can do is press them ahead enough so that we can make sure none of our guys are... There we go. There we go. So that's going to free things up a bit. And then I feel the need to do a charge right through this band of foes. There we go. And we are now up here at the front. Now we're going to try and keep here, moving forward. Let the guys in the rear here take care of this. So let's go for this one here. All right, and we can see that we are pretty well surrounded, which is unwise for sure. Unwise to get surrounded. So I'm gonna use another to make sure I don't hit myself or my other guys. Kind of clear this out over here. Okay, and they're still coming thick and fast, but I'm gonna move out of the way here because I'm right in the middle of like this mosh pit of orcs, and kind of move maybe here if I can. There we go. There we go, and now we can turn around and start facing them like the dwarves we are. Ah, now here is a stunned orc. Let's take him down. Well, if we can hit him. Can't quite get to him. That's a little bit of, it's a little bit hard to get to the guy. There's some more stunned ones over here, but we won't be able to get to them in time. But we do have, yes, we can do 3 of these orcs at once. Yes. And we have enough action points to do another 3. Can we do, say, these 3? There we go. Knock them back and killing them off. So, oh, here's a stunned one over here. Let's see if we can get there in time. Probably not, but we'll try. There we go. And then there's another one in front of us. Yep. Whoever's doing that stun attack is really helping us out. Okay. And we have some more action points. We can do... Ooh, yeah! There we go. Knocking those guys back pretty well. I would have liked to have made more progress across the bridge by this point. Let's see if we can get another... How many we can get in here and take these 3 out. So as you can see here, our goal is to kill 60 orcs, and we are at 54. These 2 here should make us 56. There we go, as I said. And let's take down, we want to kill as many of them as possible. Here's one here, right here. There's one. Perfect. We made it. It's a little bit rough there. Wasn't pretty, but we made it. Run home to your mothers.
My king, what are you doing here?
Giselbert Ionai, the father of the Fifthling clan, has not been on the front line of battle against the creatures of Tion for many cycles. The king surveys the battlefield and the defenders with a grave expression.
We are too few.
This you know as well as he does. But there will be no reinforcements arriving. Hundreds of brave warriors lie inside the fortress dying. The illness is running rampant. It brings weakness and death.
Stay at your posts. Be as steadfast as the granite of which we are made. Nothing can break us. Vrakas is with us.
All right. Vrakas is with us. So, I'm going to turn that up again a little bit, and I think the voices might have been a little bit low. So let's put those up to 100 so that you guys can make sure to hear that. All right. And that should be nice and backgroundy. But let me know in the comments below. Now, we have 2 characters in our party. We have Glendalin and we also have our king here. And we can switch between them. So King Giselbert and Glendalin, his faithful warrior. And as you can see, all these orcs conveniently died for us. Thank you very much. But we now need to make our way across the bridge. So, the King's Hammer will stun nearby enemies. That's really good. And we also have to kill 2 ogres. And those ogres are these bad boys right here.
Yes?
I think our best course of action would be to knock as many of them off the bridge as we can. They're going to come running for us. I'm going to place us a little bit ahead of us. And then hopefully we'll be able to get some of them to just knock right off of the bridge. So let's see how that works out. I'm going to have the king move forward.
Over there.
And that was very ineffective. That did not move a lot of people. I'm not too happy with that. We can give commands to several heroes in a row, which are executed simultaneously once the game is resumed. So, Glendallen, I think, might be a good time for a leap here, because we need to get right up here. Let's break up this group here. And, actually, I'm going to execute that again because I want to get it so that I'm hopefully not getting my king in here, too. And I want to be careful because we can knock the ogres off the edge, but they can also knock us off the edge. So I don't want to get too close to the edge here. As for the king, I'm going to have him do a kind of bolster the troops, a rallying call here. It's called For Vrakas is this move. Okay, so he did that.
Yes?
And Glendallen, you did not do that leap like I told you to. Why didn't you leap? Why didn't you leap, man?
Charge!
Okay. Well, I'd like you to charge. That's what I was trying to get. As you can see here, there's some routing problems. Trying to get through the fray here. Let's try that leap again. And place it right here. There we go. That's a leap. And there we go. There's the satisfaction of the moment as our foes literally fly off the bridge into their imminent deaths. And so now I'm going to have Glendallen come on this here while our line continues to move forward. And then I'm going to have the king use his stun attack right now to stun this ogre so that we can do more damage to him. So we want to be careful here because, oh, did I just lose my guy? Uh-oh! Like I told you. There's a sweep attack. Okay. And it does mean that we can get knocked off the bridge. I did not do that well. Let's try that again.
Yes?
Okay, so we had a couple of problems in that run through. One of them being that our grenade did not go off quite the way we wanted it to. So
What is it?
let's do a leap attack again to move us right in front of the king here. There we go. Now we're where we want to be. We want to be in front of this guy, but not too close to the edge here. So hopefully he can't knock us off. Hopefully.
Yes.
And then I'm going to move the king forward here. So we want to make sure that they're not sweeping us laterally across the bridge. This ogre here. So let's go ahead and stun a couple people here. Let's preferably not stun our own teammate, our fellow dwarf. And once the king stuns him, Glendallen,
What is it?
I want you on this guy here. Okay, so he is now stunned. So now I can do some extra damage to him and these 2 orcs in front of him and maybe kill him outright. We'll see. Or not.
Come here, you!
What?
Okay, and you, I want you to stay on him. Him, this guy,
On my way.
right here.
Huh? All right.
This guy. And actually, it's partly my mistake because I'm clicking the ground underneath them without meaning to.
Charge!
There we go. Do not sweep us off this bridge, okay? I'm not having it. Let's see, though. We could do a lateral blow on this one here. See if we can get it so we're not knocking our own guy backwards or sideways. There, like that. And let's see if we can get them. Not really that awesome. But
Huh?
we might need a little bit of extra help.
Hammer
There we go. There's somebody rethinking his life choices right there.
What?
Oh goodness. Okay, so stay on this
Come
ogre,
here
please.
and die.
You guys stay on this ogre. And I'm going to actually select them both
Yes?
and give them the same attack. Come on. Down with them. And let's see if we can stun him again. There we go, finally. All right, and then let's select both of our guys here.
Come
And let's
here.
go for this one. And let's give us some extra fight here.
Yes.
And I'm going to use an attack here. Take his health down. About quarter of the way. And I do not like these, they seem to have siege engines over there. I am not liking that. I'm just going to let the back line here. They're doing pretty good, actually. They're moving forward, staying right behind us. This is a much more successful run. Let's do this one more time. See if we can knock both of these guys out at once. Yeah. Just stay on him if you can. And preferably do not let my guy
What is
drop
it?
off the gate. That would be nice.
Charge.
You know what? I wonder if it might be a good idea to just lay down some pain right about here. I do not like that it's going to hit my... There we go. Okay, well, that wasn't
Yes.
perfect, but it was something. Let's see if we can stun him again. There we go. And he is now stunned, and I think he just died. Perfect. Okay, so let's select our
What?
team
Understood.
and move forward. Yes. So now, we have, how many more? We have 6 more. We're going to need every single one of those because we need to make our way across to the catapults and take them down. So let's just
Come
build
here,
up some action points by doing some basic attacks. And let's see if I can do a cleave and get him off that bridge. That'd be pretty cool. Ooh,
That's that.
too bad. But he is down, so that means
Yes.
that we can just turn around and
Charge.
boom, all down.
What?
Let's continue to mow across. You, I want you to pay attention to what is ahead of you. There you go. Yes, and you can see our teammates coming across. I sense victory, though I shouldn't speak too soon. This guy is stunned. Let's see if we can do some extra damage to him while he's stunned. Yeah, perfect. And
What is it?
what do you have in front of you? How about we knock these guys back and continue on with this one here? And King, why don't
What?
you give us some victory? There we go.
Fracas.
Okay, so now it's going to get kind of messy here at the
Yes.
bridge. So I think it's time for us to do a leap attack. Because our goal is to go for those catapults. So we can go somewhere right here. Get them all out of the way. And then do a second one to take us right over to here. Get as many of them in here as we can.
Not possible right now.
Oh, okay. He's like, nope, can't do it. Let's try it again. There we go. So here, and then we're going to turn around and give a bit of what for to this front line here and make them all rue the day. And the king is continuing to move his way through. I'm going to have him stun as many as possible. Or perhaps, actually, let's do a cleave. That does more. There. There we go. Clear the way. King coming through. There we go.
Over there.
Yeah. That knocked a whole bunch of people out. That was awesome. Yes. I felt that. That was beautiful. So we're going to continue to just, both of us just work on taking down this catapult.
Fracas!
And I am waiting until we get enough action points here. There's a lot of, we're doing okay health-wise. I'm just waiting for my action points to come back so I can do a full, and get, there we go, do some extra damage to this catapult.
What?
And I want you to stay on that catapult. Stay on the catapult.
Yes?
Do not get
Come here,
distracted.
you.
There we go. So there's a lot behind here. Let's make them a little bit sorry. And while we're at it, I know we're going to end up hitting our dude over here, but get as many as we can. And also get the catapult. There we go. And
Charge!
Be off with you. Come here and
keep knocking it down. Almost down. There we go. And
Yes?
grab our team
For fracas!
and head over, smacking faces as we go.
What is it? What?
Let's give us some a battle cry here. And
Huh?
you
Come
focus
here,
on this.
you.
Focus on
On
this.
the
There we
gate.
go. And let's do some extra damage to that. There we go. That's almost down. Did you see how much damage that did? That was nice.
Yes?
And a little more.
That's that.
Nice.
These are the ones who attacked us in the tunnels. We suffered great losses beating them back.
Come here and I'll split you like a straw, you treacherous elf!
In his fury, the old king radiates a ferocious power that none of Citalia's children could withstand. But the slight, willowy being sitting astride the Shadow Mare just grins down, mockingly.
You are mistaken. We are Alpha. We are here to destroy the elves.
All peace-loving beings here in Girdlegard are under our protection, and you cannot open the gate that has barred your path into Girdlegard since the creation of the world.
Not us, but perhaps one of your kind.
What is he doing?
This cannot be. Silence, you fool! Fracas, forgive me for what I am about to do.
Quickly, in formation! You must hold them back until I close the gate! What is it?
Okay. So, there was a traitor in our midst. Another dwarf opened these doors using the ancient dwarf language known only to dwarven kind. Or perhaps this Alfar, this elven creature who is not an elf, perhaps he had something to do with this. We need to hold them back, and not only that, we need to make sure that they don't get to the king, because they will attack him, if at all possible. So, I can see there's one coming along here, there's one here. I think our most important thing to do is to... let's try a leap forward, which will knock these guys back. Well, okay, maybe not. That was my goal. I had hope. So we can do these three here, or these three here. Let's do these three here. Knock these back. And this guy here, I want to make sure that we stay on him because I don't like how they're getting too close to the king. And here's one who's stunned here. Let's go. Let's do that there. We want to make sure we keep the king protected. Definitely stay on this guy here. Two of us on him. Stay away from the king. Stay away from the king. I'll have you. Just waiting for some more. And it might be time to spread out the masses here a bit. Now, I really don't want to hurt my own guys. That'd be, but hurt as little of them, few of them as possible. Let's try something like that.
And again.
Okay, so that kind of moved him back a little bit, but we still have the king right here.
Come
So
here,
let's go for this guy here who's stunned, and do a. There we go. Down he goes, and there's one here. I'll let my teammate take care of him. But we are pretty much standing back to back with the king. But I think this guy might be attacking the king. No, he's not. He's attacking this guy. Okay, good. So this guy here. And we have 3 more of these. Let's not waste them. To do as much damage as we can. Yeah, the poor king is just like, I'm trying to work here, okay?
Come here, you.
The king, you saw him, he did a bit of battle and then he went back to doing his, that's awesome, he got a couple of licks in.
Charge.
All right,
And stay
there we go. So, here's one here. He's almost down.
And again.
There we go. And want to make sure that no one's getting to the king. There's this guy here.
On the way.
Nope. Right there.
Charge.
There we go. And let's take a look and see how the doors are doing. Oh, he's got 2 rows left. Let's do it from this angle so we can keep an eye on how the king is doing. As you can see, he is working each particular strand of the runes from this particular door. In the meantime, let's take these 2 guys down. There we go, knocking them back. Oh, and there's somebody right there.
That's that.
Yes, it is that. Way to go, effective.
Charge.
How about this guy? Here's perfect opportunity to get 2 at once. Right there, all taken care of. And we're doing so well that we barely have anyone left. And you can see that the doors are continuing to light up. Glandalin is holding this here. Let's see, there's not too many other... We have this guy over here. And this guy over here. I think spend our last 2. Okay, that didn't do much. All it did was sort of move him a bit. But our teammates are doing a pretty good job. Let me just do a charge right through our teammates and take this guy out.
Come here, you.
Made my teammates dizzy. Whoops. And let me turn this around a little bit. There we go. So we can see the doors. The king is doing his best. Come on, take him down. One more. There we go. And then, anyone else? The rest of our crew
Understood.
goes run. The door's closing! The door's closing! Stand and hold the king's back. Hold the king's back. Hold your shield up. The rest of our dwarven fellows run across to confront the horde that waits for us. But our doom shall not be this day, for it seems that we are victorious. The doors to Gildegard are closed, and the king mortally wounded. What treachery is this?
Look at me. I am Sintharas, the reaper of your death. I will take your life, and the land will take your soul.
Get out of my sight, pointy ears, and let me delight at the closed gate a little longer.
The gate may have closed, but when you rise again from the dead by the power of the land, you will be one of us, and you will open it.
Never! My soul belongs to Vrakas.
No. Your soul now belongs to the land, and henceforth you will belong to it forever. Now die, and return. Then hand us Girdlegard.
1,035 cycles later, or maybe that's 1.035 cycles later.
You're a perfectionist, Tungdil Bolafar.
I've got a reputation to uphold. If you can't rely on the metalwork of a dwarf, what can you rely on?
Yeah, and I think this is basically a year and some months later. And we are here in the Forge of Tungdil. We're standing before someone who looks dreadful and had a bad night.
You look dreadful.
What a charmer.
The maid gives you an ironic, reprimanding scowl.
Ikana has been crying half the night.
When you were teething, I carried you around the vaults. You played with my beard and I sang you to sleep.
Frala smiles. She's heard this story many times before.
That was 23 cycles ago. But I'm quite sure you didn't sing. You might have grumbled a bit.
If what you've read about the dwarven lifespan is true, it'll be another 300 sun cycles and more before you are called to the Eternal Forge. The certainty of one day having to witness Frala's death already burdens your heart.
But even with that heavy heart, Tungdil remains polite and kind-hearted as always, and asks Frala, "What can I do for you?"
What can I do for you?
For me, nothing. It's Lot Yonan. He wants to see you in his study.
In your mind, you go through all the recent incidents that might have annoyed the Magus. Apart from a few little squabbles with his famuli, nothing worth mentioning happened since the incident with your beard. You nod.
Okay. I'd better not keep the Magus waiting.
See you later. There's goulash for dinner.
Goulash. And we are now here in Tungdil's Ford. And let's take a look around. You can hold down the space bar to see everything that there is to see.
There was a time when you could hardly lift the heavy hammer. Now you barely notice it anymore, and it feels like an extension of your arm. Smithing is in your blood.
This is where you swung the forge hammer for the first time 30 cycles ago. No one taught you the craft. It was enough for you to watch Lot Yonan's old smith at work. Whenever the workshop was empty, you practiced and quickly mastered the craft with ease.
A leather cloth. Which underneath is an axe. Every dwarf needs an axe. Okay. Well, maybe he needs a little bit of practice. Over here?
Everything you know about dwarves you learnt from books. The divine smith created the dwarves, and from time to time you make him an offering of some crumbs of gold. It's the most valuable thing you have to offer Vrakas.
So we are a dwarf who has never seen other dwarfs?
You've worked a bit more on Sunya's birthday present last night. The little one is crazy about horses. You, on the other hand, prefer to keep your distance unless you're fitting them with hooves. Too many legs and way too big.
Let's see if there's anything else to look at. Let's right-click to move along. There's a gate here.
There are apparently dwarves who have never seen the sky. And you too feel more comfortable when you have rock over your head. If only you didn't long to see more of the world, a longing that grows stronger with every year.
Perhaps Tungdil has an adventurer's heart. I am also going to take this moment to let you know that the dwarves, this game, is actually based upon...
Hey, groundling! Come to the kitchen, we need you.
Jolison, a 4th degree famulus and your favorite foe among the students of magic, gives you a disparaging glance and disappears without waiting for your reply.
Jolison. We'll heed him, but only after we heed Lot Yaonin. And as I was saying, this game is actually a realization of a book. In other words, there's a book called The Dwarves. It was first written in German and then translated to English. There's a link for it in the description below to the Goodreads page for it, where you can check it out. So I've actually been playing this game and listening to the audiobook, which I highly recommend. It's very well narrated, and gives you a lot more backstory on our hero, Tungdil, and this whole his whole upbringing and why he is here in this forge.
Lot Yonan's vaults are equipped with laboratories, a library, and private rooms for the famuli. Together with the forge, the kitchen, and the other utility rooms, it makes up quite an impressive complex. But compared to the courts of the other magi, the seat of power in Yonandar is small and modest.
Okay. There's a few other things to look at. Here's a bookcase here.
Lot Yonan didn't just take you in. He also taught you how to read and write. But you don't feel like reading right now, especially as you already know all the books by heart.
Ah, and here is Lot Yonan's study. So let's go in and find out why we have been summoned.
Master Lot Yonan, Frala told me you wished to speak with me.
Ah, Tungdil, come in. There is a bag over there in the cupboard. Take it out, please. It contains artifacts belonging to my former famulus Goren. I wish to return them to him. He's in Blacksaddle, 300 miles away.
300 miles? That's a long journey. Who are you going to entrust with this?
I was thinking of you.
Me?
There is no one better to take on this journey. You have acquired much knowledge. You are almost a scholar. You know more than most famuli about Girdlegard and its inhabitants. It is time for you to go out into the world and see it with your own eyes.
With pleasure.
Adventure! Finally, a chance to go out and see the world. And maybe we'll meet other dwarves on the way.
Perhaps I'll meet some dwarves on my travels.
Yes, perhaps. But don't hold out too much hope. And be careful who you talk to. Not everyone out there likes dwarves.
Yeah, goblins. They abduct baby dwarves and sell them to magi, from what I've heard.
Not the best bit of business I've ever done. But what was I to do? The Longnoses threatened to throw you into the nearest river.
So we were a foundling. And brought to this doorstep and perhaps raised by this Lot Ionin. So, what's in the pouch?
What's in the bag?
Magical devices. You better leave the bag closed if you want to avoid any accidents. Dwarves don't really like magic, and magic doesn't like you either.
Rakus gave us so much craftsmanship that there's no space left in our bodies for magic.
Strictly speaking, every time you've been too close to magic, it has ended in catastrophe.
Strictly speaking. So therefore, we now have a path. And we're going to be off to Blacksaddle, wherever that is. And we'll set off soon.
Be on your guard. Look after the bag and don't lose it. May Palandiel be with you. And Varakas too, of course.
I'll set off immediately. I'll see you soon, Lot Yonan.
And that gives us a quest, which gives us an opportunity to open our quest log. Side quests will appear here, and our first quest is the Famulus's rucksack, the Famulus rucksack, or in other words, Gorin's rucksack. Rucksack.
Of the 200 or so people selected to learn the art of magic under Lot Yonan, there's barely a handful of them you can stand the sight of. You're not at all interested in magic in all its elusiveness and whimsy. Your realm is the Forge.
All of this magic is just twiddle-twaddle. Since we're going on a journey, I imagine that we'll need some food. Let's pilfer some.
Hey, what are you doing, groundling? We're still eating here. Why don't you go and get your own portion?
Says Lord Arbuthnot.
The blacksmith. Do you want something?
Did a horse bolt while you were trying to shoe it? It's certainly not on our plates.
So, maybe we should find some food that is not currently being eaten by someone else. Nobody saw that. And we gained 25 experience points for stealing our dinner.
Tangdale! Quick! Or the goulash will get burnt!
You immediately recognize what the problem is. A chain running over a pulley for positioning the cauldron is detached from its mounting, and the cauldron stuck in the fireplace. It's a heavy load, and none of the famuli, who feel superior even during kitchen duty, dare do anything. They might burn their fingers, or even get a bit dirty.
We can't have that. So we have the mounting bracket here, and we have some other things to look at as well too, but first let's repair this bracket.
It'd be a waste of goulash, and I'm hungry. Here, hold this.
This is Jolison, who I believe was the one who was so rude to call us here and with such disdain. And so let's see if we can't get him to hold on to this hot chain for a little while longer while we chat.
Do you remember when you dyed my beard with some magic spell? I had to shave it off.
You stroke your beard, which is unusually short for a dwarf.
Damn it! Ah, it's heavy!
The young human forces through his pursed lips, letting the pot sink a little.
Don't you dare ruin my goulash, boy!
The cook, with beefy forearms, glares at the young man, and after a brief moment, he tries harder.
I would suggest trying harder too. And we can examine the mounting bracket very, very thoroughly and extremely slowly.
With as much concern in your voice as you can muster, you say,
"Oh, no, this doesn't look good."
You're pleased to notice he's dripping with sweat.
I'll get you back for this, groundling!
All right, let's finally repair it. Just to stop hearing his mewling. Simple.
You damned freak!
For a moment, you hope the Famulus really does raise his hand to you. But then he comes to his senses and leaves the kitchen, his face bright red.
What a pair you are!
And there is Frala.
Hello, Frala.
Frala, we're going on a journey, or, well, I am. And I need food, provisions, for 300 miles.
I need provisions for 300 miles.
You're grinning from ear to ear. Finally, you've got the chance to see something of the world.
300? Tungdil, that's no errand. That's an epic journey. Wait, I've got just the right thing. But make sure the cook doesn't see.
I'm going to Blacksaddle to return a few things to a former apprentice in Amagus.
You pocket the rye bread, sausages, and ham. Enough food for the first few days of your journey.
And we also give our thanks to Frala with a present.
I've got a present for you.
You take out a symbol of protection that you've carefully made from 3 horseshoe nails.
It's not the finest jewellery in Girdlegard.
One look at Frala's face makes it clear that it doesn't matter. She glows with happiness as she takes the pendant.
For me? But why?
Because you don't see me as an oddity, and you're like a little sister to me.
You could have said, but you settle with a shrug and a crooked smile.
Maybe one day we'll be able to say those words to her. But for now, changing the subject, I wonder if we might meet some dwarves on the way.
Perhaps I'll even meet some dwarves on the way.
Frala throws you a cautious glance. It's a tricky subject that you can't help but broach.
There aren't dwarves down here. You're the only one in Idaslane, as far as we know.
I know, but I can't just have been born out of a rock. Somewhere in the mountains, I have a clan. Maybe even a family.
Yes. Maybe.
Frala has reminded you more than once that Lot Yonan wrote to the dwarf clans, and none of them were missing a dwarf boy.
I have to go. I've got a long journey ahead of me.
I wish you the blessing of Palandiel and Vracus to protect you from all danger on your journey. Here, a talisman. Whenever you look at it, think of me.
Frala winks at you mischievously.
And of getting me a nice present.
And we now have in our inventory Frala's scarf, a keepsake. It brings good fortune to the wearer. There's no need to put it on. I believe that it's just as long as we have it in our inventory. It will bring us good fortune. Or maybe it will be woven into the story later. There are a few more things to look at in the kitchen.
The beer that is delivered to the vaults is supposed to be the best beer in Idaslane. It's certainly your favourite beer, but you haven't drunk enough other beers to truly know.
See if we can grab some more
Vegetables,
food.
bread, cheese, but the cook is not to be trifled with. Many painful knuckles have taught you that she knows how to handle her heavy wooden spoon, and that she may possibly have eyes in the back of her head.
Or not. Oh, there's a little cradle here.
I am your godfather, little one. I'll look after you just like I looked after your mother.
Little Akana grasps your calloused finger and smiles at you wide-eyed.
Ah, so Frala was up all night with Akana, and that's why she looks so tired.
The goulash is bubbling in the cauldron. You draw the warm air in through your nose, and the smell makes your mouth start watering.
I think that might be it that we can see here in the keep of Lot Yonan. And we have all that we need for our journey. Let's leave Lot Yayonan's vaults and head out into the wide world.
How nice to see you again, Lot Yonan. It must have been an age since we last met face to face.
Nudin, welcome. Please, sit down.
No, thank you, my friend. These are urgent matters, and I don't have much time. You must come to Leos Nudin immediately. The perished land is stirring.
Are you sure? What makes you think that?
I found out about 60 orbits ago, during a visit to the borders. Our magical barriers have weakened and become porous. The Elfar have left their land, and a huge horde of orcs have marched into Girdlegard.
Were you able to strengthen the spell with your magic?
No. I can't repair the damage alone. We need the combined power of the 6. The other 4 are already on their way here, but we need your help too.
I will set off for Parista without delay.
Oh, and as you're coming, could you also take the opportunity to bring back the things that I lent to you?
Of course. I have them already packed in a bag.
Oh, thank you. We'll be expecting you.
Utterly blinded by the sunlight, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut after only a few steps. The time spent underground has made you so sensitive to light that you're forced to seek shelter in the shade of a mighty oak.
Okay. So, this is the map of Ida's Lane. And there's Miss March up there. And we begin here at Lot Yonan's vaults.
You reach a small lake by a birchwood. Your feet hurt and your eyes still sting in the unaccustomed sunlight. But a smile spreads across your face nonetheless. You've covered a decent distance on the first day of your big journey. You pitch your camp and lie down to sleep on the hard forest floor. When you awake in the morning, your legs are stiff and achy. Trying not to feel sorry for yourself, you throw your rucksack over your shoulder. You're a dwarf, and dwarves don't complain.
Let's continue on. There's a question mark here. We can go either way along the path. Over here is Blacksaddle, so let's go to the south and just kind of go directly there if we can. See what this question mark is as we come up here.
Around midday, with the sun high in the sky and the first beads of sweat appearing on your forehead, you see something move next to the road, a few hundred meters ahead. Some crows are pecking at something in the long grass.
We're dwarves. We're not good at sneaking. Our feet are too solid and heavy as they hit the earth. So let's walk further along the road until we can make out more.
When you see the blood on the ground, you try to convince yourself it's from an animal that just happened to be killed on the road by a hunter. You know this is improbable, and your hope disappears completely when you see 2 human bodies lying in the flattened grass.
It's a beautiful day along the path until we turn and see a body.
A slender man lies in front of you, dressed in an expensive robe. It is in the colors of Turgur the Fair-Faced, one of the 6 magi. The dead man must be one of Turgur's famuli. You don't see any wounds.
There are 6 magi in this world. Turgur the Fair-Faced is one of them, as is Lot Yonan, and then also the mage with the quadruple chins that we just saw in the cutscene. But the crows fly away, and as we turn the body over.
By Vracus.
There are some narrow stab wounds in the man's chest. The cuts are too big to have been made by arrows, but too small for sword wounds.
Let's investigate a little bit more.
You don't see any signs of a struggle in the area where the corpses are lying. Were they stabbed by a companion? A stranger could hardly have crept up on them with such sparse cover.
So they probably weren't ambushed.
Nothing.
There's nothing in this bush. Let's move forward. There's another body here.
You look down on a tall, broadly built man. He's wearing dark brown leather armor that is strengthened with iron plates. There's a sword lying next to him. Was he trying to defend himself against something? Or someone? There is no blood on the sword.
Shooing more of the voracious crows away, we turn the body over.
The man has the same incisions. It's clear that both men were killed by the same weapon. But what that weapon might be, you cannot say.
Is there anything else to examine here? Let's press the space button. Yes, there is. There's two things. There's a rucksack here.
A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the dead. It seems to have been searched and then thrown away carelessly.
Okay, let's search through it.
You find a few implements, some provisions, and a map. A route is drawn on it from Parista, Nudin's capital, to Lot Yonan's vaults.
Does this mean that Turga the Fair-Faced is in Parista and wanted to send Lot Yonan a message? And if so, why didn't he use magic? Did he want to contact him without anyone noticing? Why all this secrecy?
There's nothing more to discover from that rucksack. There is a bush here. On a whim, Turgan decides to just have a quick look.
Nothing again.
You halt. There is something.
Another rucksack?
Clues.
You open the rucksack and recognize that someone has already rummaged through it. As well as some implements and writing utensils, you find a pouch full of gold and a talisman. The gold is proof that this is not a case of robbery.
Let's take that gold for sure, but this talisman interests us.
Warmth and a feeling of security flush through your body as you touch the talisman. You feel safer just holding it in your hand.
I'm taking you with me.
And of course the gold. No good dwarf would leave gold behind. And we now have a talisman which has been added to our inventory. A talisman of protection. When damage is received, there is a 50% chance of reducing the damage by 50%. And it looks like this we can actually wear. Let's continue. Feeling a little bit safer, but wanting to get away from this. We're gonna hurry. This area where these dead are.
You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do next.
And then reconsider. I believe we should bury the dead and then continue on. We don't want to leave them out for the crows.
It's time-consuming and strenuous work digging shallow graves in the ground with a stick and covering the corpses with a few stones. But it should at least keep the crows from their feasting for a while. You continue on your way so as to put a few more miles between you and your grisly find before night falls.
Let us hurry along. There's a farmstead here.
As the gable end of a small farmhouse and a barn appear from behind a hilltop, you hear the loud cries of children at play. A girl runs along the path laughing, followed by a small boy with a big stick in his hand. The boy is trying to catch up his sister with a determined look on his face, but is finding it difficult to keep his short legs under control on the uneven path.
Let's just take a moment to see if the children notice us.
The boy trips and falls to the ground with a bump. Before the girl can reach him to help, he picks himself up and grabs the stick to continue the chase. In doing so, he catches a glimpse of you, and his eyes grow wide. All he manages to say is, "There," as he points towards you with a chubby little finger. Now the girl has turned to face you too. Before you can say a word, she lifts her little brother up into her arms and runs screaming towards the farmhouse.
Well, they know we're here now, so let's just follow the children to the farm.
Without rushing, you follow the children to the farmhouse into which they've disappeared. After a few moments, they reappear, accompanied by their parents. Their father is a thick-set man with grey hair.
I am Opatia. This is my wife, Remsa.
The blonde woman nods a greeting almost imperceptibly and clasps her daughter tightly to her. She looks you over with an anxious expression.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Tungdal.
You try to make your voice sound as harmless as possible.
They may have found out or know something about the two bodies we found down the road. Let's ask them about those travelers.
Over the last few days, have you seen two travelers heading east?
Opatia looks at his wife, but she shakes her head.
Why do you ask?
We found their bodies a good day's march from here.
I found them. Two dead bodies on the side of the road. A good day's march east from here.
Dead bodies?
She hastily covers her son's ears.
Was it orcs?
Remsa, what would orcs be doing up here? It was probably just bandits.
Remsa seems worried.
I'm sorry if I scared your wife and children.
The man waves dismissively.
No. It's just that my fair woman is especially jumpy these days.
The orcs have been spotted near Calmstead. You should take it more seriously.
The farmer's wife clutches her daughter even tighter before the girl finally protests. The boy steps forward excitedly and cuts the air with his stick.
If strangers come, we're supposed to run away, but I can hit them too.
Opatia pats his son on the head, laughing.
We're safe. The orcs have no reason to come so far north.
I would disagree with that. For if there are orcs nearby, it would be best to get out of harm's way.
Wouldn't it be better to move to one of the bigger villages if there are orcs around?
The farm is our livelihood. We can't just leave the place. The fields don't look after themselves. King Tilagorn's cavalry will take care of the orcs, or Lord Yonan and his magi.
But the cavalry can't be everywhere at once. Even a handful of orcs would be enough to finish us.
Once the seeds are planted, I'll build a hideaway, just as you wish. But what use is a hideaway if we've nothing to eat in the autumn?
Well, I would say that having something to eat would be much more preferable, or having to find food would be much more preferable than being dead. I think we should build the hideaway immediately.
If there are orcs in the area, then you shouldn't waste any time. Build that hideaway.
The dwarf is right.
Remsa gives you a thankful smile before turning to her husband.
We'll take care of the other problems when we come to them. The most important thing is that we're safe.
Opatia stays silent for a moment, a gloomy expression on his face, before shrugging his shoulders.
All right then. Dwarves do know best when it comes to orcs.
You bid farewell and set off on your way. The children follow you for a while, before saying their goodbyes in laughter and running back towards the farm.
Where to next? Let's go north and find out what this mysterious question mark is. You can see over here that there's a dwarf merchant and other things moving along the map.
You see a flickering light through the trees some way from the path. It might come from a campfire.
Even though we are not so good at sneaking, I think it has grown nighttime, and to just walk into a campfire is courting trouble. To walk into a camp. Let's see if we can sneak a little closer, even though we are dwarves.
You creep through the undergrowth towards the fire, but can't prevent your armor from clattering and small twigs from breaking under every heavy step you take. You curse quietly to yourself, but go on until you can see what's going on. 3 broad-shouldered men with axes sit at a campfire, on which 2 rabbits are sizzling. It's only thanks to the fact that the men are joking loudly with one another and not paying attention to their surroundings that they haven't discovered you yet.
I don't know. I think we might want to try and sneak up a little bit more and eavesdrop on them before deciding whether it's safe.
You sneak up on the men until a thick branch breaks loudly under your boot. You realize, terrified, that the men's voices have fallen silent. The men jump up and grab their axes.
Who's there?
They know we're here. At this point, let's see if we can't allay their fears.
You step into the light of the fire, your hands raised in a conciliatory gesture.
My name is Tungdil. I'm only...
Well, I'll be. Is that a groundling?
The men look you over suspiciously.
What's a groundling doing creeping around here? Are you after our gold?
I bet you was hoping to slit our throats once we fell asleep, subterranean scum.
Tungdil raises his hands. I should not have crept up on you, he says. But choose your words more wisely, he says with a sudden burst of bravery.
I shouldn't have crept up on you, I'm sorry, but that is really no reason to be so unfriendly.
Oh, I didn't intend to insult your lordship in any way. But all groundlings are thieves and good-for-nothings.
You find it difficult to take control of your voice again.
Have you met many dwarves?
Shut it, you filthy thief.
This is not going well. He is alone. There are 3 of them. It's nighttime. Dwarves are not... They can run. They have a lot of stamina, but they can't run very quickly. So I think let's try and ease the situation a bit.
The next morning, visions of axes, faces full of hate, fists and heavy boots flicker through your befuddled mind. Your first attempt to move fails when pain shoots through every bone, every muscle, and every nerve in your body. It's a long time before you manage to sit up and tend to your wounds in the early sunlight. There's no trace of the woodcutters. They must have thrown you into the undergrowth near the campfire once they were finished with you.
Well, that did not go well, and we are now wounded a bit. So, I don't know if it'll show that we're... Oh, yeah, look at that. We have 0 health, 5 injuries. I think it would be wise to get to help and soon. There's a village over here. Let's see.
You reach the banks of the Warder and can see Axeldale on the other side, but there isn't a bridge for far and wide. The fishermen's boats glide over the water, which sparkles in the sun. None of the men seem to notice you while they throw out their nets.
A bit exhausted, Tungdil takes this moment to sit on the side of the bank and look at the river and collect his thoughts and try and ease the pain of his muscles and the cuts and bruises.
You look at the cold, dark water. The current seems so strong that they could carry off even the most experienced of swimmers, and you aren't even a mediocre one. You once read a legend in a book. Elria, the goddess of water, did not like the children of the Forge and cursed the dwarves, so that they would drown in any waters beyond their kingdoms. The main reason that dwarves avoid water to this day.
After some time sitting on the bank and rethinking a possibility of swimming across, we can call out to the nearest fisherman.
You call to the nearest fisherman. He looks across at you briefly before turning away and getting back to his work. You're going to have to find another way of crossing the river. You leave the peaceful banks of the river behind you and continue on your way.
We cannot cross the river there, so that means that we must head towards help. To the south is good water, perhaps a bed and friendly faces at last.
You look down on a large village on the banks of the Warder. Some of the village is built on stilts in the river. A wooden bridge spans the fast-flowing water. A huge wooden palisade has been erected to protect the village from attack.
Let's follow the path down to the gate and hope for a warm welcome.
The guards on the palisade are watching you. Their armor looks well cared for and well made. The smith who made them knew what he was doing. You conclude that the men depend on the protection the armor offers and aren't just wearing them to look good. They're certainly not villagers.
I just hope to find a bed for the night. They are prepared for attack. Nothing will be sneaking up on them. Here's a fire.
There are small fires burning every 50 steps or so. They are intended to light up the area in front of the palisade in the night, so that orcs can't creep up to within an arrow's reach without being seen. The wooden palisade encompasses the whole of the large village and is guarded by many men in armor. The stronghold has been constructed in haste, probably only over the last few days, but the work is sound, and uninvited guests should find it difficult to gain access.
Let us approach.
The double gate is made of strong planks, sturdy but still much less solid than the fixed parts of the palisade. Security has been forgone here for practical reasons. Never a good idea when building fortifications.
So this gate to the Dwarven Eye is not as strong as one might assume.
Orc skulls?
You're not sure it's wise to taunt the beasts with the severed heads of their fellow kind.
Agreed.
Some of the guards begin to whisper as you near the gate.
Hello up there! What brings you to fair good water? And have you seen any orcs on your travels, groundling?
The man leaning over the palisade eyes you up and down carefully.
And we will ask in our politest tone if he would let us in, because we don't want to spend the night under the stars among the orcs.
Goodwater is well known for its hospitality.
A fact that you've just made up yourself.
Let me in, and I will tell other travellers all about it.
I regret to inform you that we cannot allow you to enter. The gates stayed closed once night has fallen.
There's certainly no regret showing in the man's face.
We could try bribing him, but Tungdil is a basically good-hearted dwarf, and bribery wouldn't happen unless he was in much more dangerous circumstances. He would try that if all else failed. Let's see if we can't offer to use our skills with the forge to make a stronger gate.
I'm a blacksmith and a dwarf. Let me tell you, your gate might look solid, but it won't withstand a real orc assault.
The murmuring all around him makes the man pause for a moment. If anyone else had criticized the stronghold, they'd have been laughed down and shooed away. But no one understands defense systems like the dwarves.
A dwarf blacksmith who just happens to be standing in front of our gate?
Yes, just happens to, and of course, let's whip out a tall tale. If we can get inside this gate, it's worth it.
That's right. I can see to it that orcs crack open their skulls on your gate, just like at home on the High Pass. Skulls that add up to hard cash for you.
You only know about the Secondling stronghold from books, but you can see in the man's face you've pushed the right buttons.
All right then. You can spend the night in the village. You begin work tomorrow morning, and it had better work like you promised.
Of course. It's a trifle.
And that's the truth. For us, it is a trifle. A morning's work.
After a meal, you spend the night in the comfort and shelter of a Goodwater tavern. The next morning, you feel fully refreshed. You strengthen the gate with cross braces of wood and iron, using your experience and skill. Now it should be able to withstand an attack for much longer. Mercenaries and villagers alike watch you work, clearly impressed. As you finish, a man approaches you.
Well done, dwarf. We were right to bring you into our village.
The village grew rich through bridge tolls, and this wealth must be defended.
I think if his work has been so pleasing, perhaps they might pass his palm with a bit of gold. Because we never pass up an opportunity for a bit of gold.
I've spent almost half an orbit strengthening the gate. How about a bit of compensation?
The council member's face darkens.
We've paid for food and lodgings, and because we're generous, we've also thrown in the bridge toll. Good day, Mr. Dwarf.
Sorry about that, edge scrolling there. So, well, we are going to leave Bridgewater, Goodwater, I should say, with a bit of a sheepish tale. Now, if we go this way, we can't cross, so that's Axeldale.
And an easy feeling has been your constant companion since you left Goodwater. Every little sound in the forest makes you fear you've been discovered by a horde of orcs. But you reach the end of the day without bumping into any of the greenskins. It seems as though Vrakas has granted you one more day in Girdlegard. As night begins to fall, you pass a large oak tree and decide to call it a day. Near the oak tree is an abandoned camp with a fireplace, which appears to be a couple of days old.
There are a lot of orcs around, or at least we just left Goodwater, and Goodwater is fully fortified. So they must know of the tales of orcs in the land and coming closer. I think it would be very unwise to set our camp up in such a visible place. Let us set our camp instead, hidden in the crown of the old oak tree. It will be uncomfortable, but not as uncomfortable as death.
You swing yourself up the trunk and then pull up your baggage after you. You're prepared to sleep in a tree like a bird if it means escaping the orcs' attentions. You sling your rope twice around your stomach and the trunk of the tree to stop you from falling accidentally. You close your eyes and dream. You see North Pass and smell the fresh, icy wind that sweeps over the peaks of Great Blade and Dragon's Tongue. But the harmony is interrupted by the hideous roar of an unending flood of orcs throwing itself unceasingly against the fortification. You smell the disgusting green blood of the orcs and taste the rancid fat of their armor on your tongue. The bitter taste becomes stronger until it's unbearable and wrenches you out of your dream. You open your eyes and are surprised at the brightness as a glance at the sky confirms that it's still night. Your eyes move towards the ground, and what you see makes the blood in your veins freeze.
I am Sinthras of Son Balsur. My master, Nod On the Doublefold, ruler of the perished land, has elected you, the lords of Taboribor, to be the sword that conquers the south.
You mean you want us to put our necks on the line and be killed by some magus?
Lord Yonan and the others will be taken care of. Your task is to create a diversion in the south until my master's plan succeeds.
And which of us is the leader?
The one that conquers the most land.
So Kragnar will be the new Grand Lord.
He glares at Ushnots and Bashkug.
The Kragnar Shore tribe will conquer the most land.
Never! We will overwhelm the cities of the Red Bloods quicker than you can suck the marrow from a bone.
We shall see.
You can't believe what you're hearing. If the beasts of Tion ride into battle together, catastrophic cycles lie ahead for Girdlegard. The night in the oak tree was the worst of your life. You spent every single moment afraid that you'd be found and savaged by the orcs. But as the first rays of sun broke through the treetops, the orcs abandoned their camp and left without discovering you.
I don't believe we're in a rush to jump out of this tree, for fear there may be any orcs still nearby, so let's observe the situation a little longer.
Better safe than sorry.
Your eyes scan the deserted camp, and you listen carefully for any noise. But you don't see or hear anything suspicious.
I think we can take our chances and climb out of the old oak tree. That gives us a journal entry here. A side quest. Diversion in the south. We can't be everywhere at once, but if we could stop one or two of the hordes and prevent the worst from happening, that would be good. The double-fold here, that the orcs from Torboribor, there we go, Torboribor, are in league with the Alfar from Son Balsur. And we now know of a name called Nod On, who the Alf Sinthoris, the one who killed the hero in the beginning of our story, called the Lord of the Perished Land. All right. But we need to get on our way. It's too dangerous to start a fire. But there's a little bit of the fireplace here left over. Maybe there's something left to eat?
Ugh. You're overcome by the urge to vomit. You have, of course, heard the stories, But seeing with your own eyes that orcs actually do eat humans is a long way from just reading about it.
This is the place. I knew it was here. Come on then, find that stupid necklace. Hey, Fuskar, in front of you. A grounding, perfect for a spotted breakfast.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess not only are we not getting our breakfast, we might end up being breakfast. We're really not that good at fighting. We're smiths. I don't know. Let's try and throw our axe at the leader and then run. Maybe we can outrun them, or at least maybe get back up the tree.
You know that you're no warrior, but perhaps you can escape with a diversion.
Uh-oh.
Oink, oink, little piggies! By Barrowin's beard! How did you manage to lose your weapon? Go and get it, and this time, hold it tight. Hey, that one was mine!
You're just too slow, dear brother.
Too slow? Just wait!
Battle ensues. And we have, well, some unexpected people to help us maybe save our lives. So we have these orcs here. And Tungdil is not a good fighter. So we definitely do not want to leave him alone. Boendel, let's see what skills they have.
What is it?
He has the leap skill and he has Blade Storm, which is really cool. It allows you to very quickly kill an enemy.
What is it?
And we have here this Mighty Blow. So I'm thinking that what we should do is have you move here
On my way.
to try and block these orcs and get them off of Tungdil. You can see that Tungdil is surrounded. And over here, Boendil is got a lot on him as well too. I think first of all,
Yes?
let's give Tungdil his talisman of protection to try and keep him alive.
Yes?
And then let's have Boendil come in here,
As good
maybe
as
right
done.
here, right next to Tungdil. And then he is surrounded, so let's cast Eruption. It's going to get people out of the way.
What now?
And then let's see. Let's cast Blade Storm here. And he'll just chop people down, doing a lot of damage. And we're going to cast that twice so that he can take down 2 of these enemies at once.
Huh?
Tungdil is surrounded by 4.
Huh?
And Boendil, let's see. Let's have Boendil go on this guy here. Tungdil's in some trouble. I am concerned about that. Let's see what we can do, though. Take down, maybe. We want to take down at least 2.
Yeah.
There we go. Get them out of the way. And then try and keep him alive as much as possible. Let's continue to use our taking them down as fast as possible. We want to also get those archers, but can't quite worry about that now.
What is it?
And then I'm going to have you try and take these 2 down. There we go. And continue to use our abilities here to...
Yeah.
There we go. Get that one out of the way.
Yes?
And continue to use those skills. Yeah. Taking them down as much as he can. Let's try and get this guy off of Tungdil. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to wait until Tungdil gets... Now, here, You can see that Boendil is all red, and he has red on his face, if you can see that there. That is because he is basically uncontrollable right now. He's in a fury, and I'll show you more about that in his character.
Yes?
So now, Boendal has taken care of most of the enemies around him.
Pleasure.
So he's going to come in here, and let's see if he can't take these two down. Yeah. And Boendil is just, you know, he is controllable now. That's wonderful. And okay. So, most of these guys are not on Tungdil, which is what I want to keep him alive. He's the most important thing to keep alive.
And what
I'm going to continue to use Blade Storm. It's just such a great... It takes enemies down like crazy.
Come here, you. Yes.
And now, brothers are fighting side by side. Let's take these two out. There we go. And have him go for these two now. Well, actually, that's just one. Oops. And I think he just might have done some damage to Tungdil there. That was not what I meant to do.
Yeah.
There we go. And then Tungdil, I'm going to come over here. Now you can see here, this is a problem. When he is taken over, he will, as you can see, he'll just attack anyone. So we want to stay away from him. And I'm going to let Tungdil stay over here out of the way so he can hopefully heal up in between turns.
What is it?
Which means that we should head across the battlefield and leave our crazed brother and head over here. And Boendal will... Actually, I'll have Boendal take these three here. And let Boendal and Boendil. So this is Boendil, and he is just wrecking everything that moves. Tungdil's doing his best here. Let's see if we can kill him outright, like that. There we go. And Tungdil will now be on this guy here. And they'll do a little bit of damage. Now you can see with his little axe, he hasn't got a lot of damage that he can do. This guy is actually in trouble, and I'm not sure what to do about that, except to quite simply just move him out of the way to give him enough chance to... I'm going to move him like all the way over here and have them chase him for a while.
Creature. Yes?
Just to let him heal up a little bit because I can't control him most of the time. That means that Tungdil is now surrounded. If we wait just a moment... Oops. If we wait just a moment, this guy will come in for him. And let's see if we can get these two guys at once.
At once.
There we go. So now, let's go for this. Both of these guys.
Yeah.
And that should take them out. There's Tungdil over here.
Yes.
Now let's go over here and see how Boendal is doing. And I'm thinking he's doing pretty good. He's going to hit two enemies here.
All right.
Nope, nope, nope. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to go like that. There we go. And he has single-handedly taken care of all of these guys. So now...
As good as done. I didn't hit you very hard.
I'm going to have him move across the battlefield. Head for this guy.
Bad luck for you.
Tungdil is still doing his best against this one guy here.
Yeah.
There we go. And then you are still here, over here, healing. And now I can leap you over there. And you can start to make those guys a misery. I'm going to have him go do his, and then have him move over here. Tungdil. So Tungdil, I'm going to have him move slowly over. And help out.
On my way.
Maybe over here. Because the slower I move him, the more chances you can see he has to heal up. We want to keep Boendil out of the way. Let's have Tungdil go for this one here. Who is currently stunned. So we have a good chance of doing a critical hit on him. Oh, he's down he's down already. Let's go for this guy here. Oh, they're killing him faster than I can get Tungdil over there. But they're surrounded over here. So we're coming in here for the final round here. Let's have you do this guy here.
Next.
You. This.
Huh?
And you. This. There we go. Beautiful critical hits there. And then this one last guy who's very, very sorry. And as you can see here, we have almost met our goal here. I have 32 orcs killed. And this guy is really sorry that he chose the job profession that he did. Let's see if we can get him in camera angle. He's right here. And they're just going to chase him all around. This guy hasn't got a hope. Not a hope. They back him up against the cliff. And that's that.
Oink oink. That's all? No more orcs?
Well fought, young friend. Do you happen to be Tungdil?
Well fought? But he fought like a...
Boindale, what do you expect? He grew up amongst the humans.
Who are you, and how do you know my name?
My name is Boindal Hookhand, of the clan of the Swinging Axes. This is my brother, Boindale Doubleblade. We've been sent to find you.
Call me Ironheart. Are there any more piggy snouts around here?
The surprise is evident in Tungdil's face as he says, "You were sent here to find me."
You turned up at just the right moment. But are you sure it's me you're looking for?
The High King Gundrabor sent us to fetch you and bring you to Ogre's Death in the Secondling realm in the south.
So he received the letter from my master? And am I a secondling?
Well, something like that, I guess.
Well, something like that is closer than we were moments before it to knowing our heritage. But there are more... But what could the High King want? Why? Why me?
Then my family was found and the High King wants to bring me back to my clan.
No, you're not a secondling. You're a fourthling. And you're to...
The High King will tell you all about that once we get to Ogre's Death. We should get going.
Well, I think we show a bit of gratitude for how they helped us save us from these orcs, but there are more orcs here than anyone could ever wish for if you want to do more orc killing.
There was a meeting last night. The Elfar serve a certain Nod On who calls himself Lord of the Perish Land. They have enlisted 3 orc hordes to cause unrest in the south.
Did you hear that, Boindal? Peggy snouts!
The Elfar from Son Balzur and the orcs from Taboribor are working together?
And could ally with the orcs from the Perish Land.
The twins look at you solemnly. You all know what that would mean for the people of Girdlegard.
Of course we must help the humans. All the races, well, those of peaceful natures, the dwarves are the protectors of. So yes, we will help the humans.
We've got to...
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say, but it's our duty to get you to the Ogre's Death Fortress in one piece.
I thought the duty of dwarves was to protect the innocent in Girdlegard.
Lot Yonan and King Broron will take care of the orcs. We 3 must be careful. You're not exactly a warrior.
But he has broad shoulders and broad hands. There's hope for him yet. So when you've got the chance to split a few orc skulls, you should take it.
Well, if an opportunity comes our way, I suppose we will. At least now that we have some backup. But wait. What about Lot Yonan's orders?
I would be happy to follow you into the realm of the Secondlings. In truth, there is nothing I would rather do. But first, I must travel to Blacksaddle and return some things to a former famulus of Lot Yonan.
Blacksaddle isn't exactly on our way.
It's on my way. We can head south as soon as I've carried out Lot Yonan's orders.
Well, he's certainly got the stubbornness of a dwarf. Perhaps we'll be able to make a real dwarf of him on the way.
All right, we'll accompany you. The sooner we find that famulus, the quicker we can get back to the mountains.
I'll have to send Lot Yonan a message by carrier pigeon on the way. And if we happen to stumble upon a couple of orcs...
I like you, but we'll have to find you another name. Bolafar. It's about as good as Lipsmith, Paddletoss, or Blufflegrump. It is stupid, senseless, and definitely not a name of honor. What are you good at?
I'm good at reading.
Reading? You're a scholar?
And that brings us to level 2. And I don't know if telling them that, well, we're good at reading and that we're a scholar is really the most dwarven pursuit. But, well, must be honest. Boandal and Boandil are now a part of our party. And we are now level 2, which means we can now do our first level up. There's a level up, or adding a new ability at every other level. And our final ability being Might. The force of Tungdil's actions and attacks is raised significantly for a short period of time, which is pretty cool. And I think we're going to choose the sweep in part because when an enemy is swept off of its feet, the next blow is almost always fatal. So Cleave will deal damage to several enemies and knock them sideways, but I think it's better for us to just go enemy by enemy, one by one. And plus also, one of the two brothers already has this, I believe, this Cleave ability. I might be wrong on that, but anyway. Let's go ahead and use sweep and then continue. That also means that we have a talisman of healing, and we have found some gold and some extra provisions, which will allow us to heal our injuries along the journey. And with that, new party members, we can now assign this talisman of healing to someone else. And because I'm actually going to give this to Boandil because he does a lot of attacks. And because a lot of times during battle, he's not controllable because he goes into what's called here the Ire Heart. It's a passive. Boandil's Ire Heart can awaken due to damage. And he deals huge amounts of damage for a short period of time, but it can't be controlled anymore. So that means he's doing a lot of attacks, and so this will hopefully keep him healthy. We are, all of us, a bit injured, the party here. And then we still need to find a magical artifact for Boandal. And Tungdil has his talisman of protection for now. So we'll keep that. And that's going to bring us to the end of this episode of The Dwarves. I want to remind you again that this book is available. You can find it on Amazon. There's an audiobook version which I have been listening to while playing this game. I've not completed the game, so I'll let you know when I get to the part where I will be then playing blind. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit the thumbs up button below, and if you loved it, join the party and subscribe. And I'll see you back here in the world of Girdlegard, in the next episode, where we will be doing a whole lot of work fighting. Thanks, as always, for watching.